Philip Hoskins has been preparing estate plans for over 40 years. He's made the process affordable and convenient for his clients, including innovative use of the internet. Let's meet Philip Hoskins. Hello, Philip.
Hello, Tim.
And thanks for coming in. Please sit down.
Thank you. My pleasure.
So, Philip, how did you get into estate planning?
It was a pretty strange route. I started working for the U.S. Justice Department, taught law school, and then met up with one of my law school buddies, and we started a firm, and estate planning is the way I wanted to help people.
Well, why is it important for people to have an estate plan?
Because you want to avoid having to go to court for probate. Probate is a year-long process, very expensive and very inconvenient. So I try to make sure that you're prepared for distributing your estate without that. Plus, there are things like a health directive in case you can't make health decisions. You need somebody who can do that for you. It's basically just a way to make people's life better.
What's the minimum size of estate that really you would really recommend having an estate plan? I'm sure if you have no assets, or maybe are there situations where even if you have no assets that an estate plan is useful?
Yes, even with no assets, part of it is useful. Like I said, a health directive and a power of attorney can come in very handy if you're ever disabled and can't make decisions yourself.
Okay, so that's part of it. I guess I missed that part of it. That is part of it. It's not just all financial.
Right. And those things are happening more and more nowadays. As we live longer, we also become more incapacitated. So it's important to really take care of all the different things that could happen in our lives.
Well, what separates you from your competitors?
Well, several things. I think I'm a nice guy.
I will second that. You're right, Phil.
And I have thought this process through so that it's as convenient as is possible for my clients. As you mentioned, I deal with a lot of this on the internet if they want to. If they want to meet with me in person, that's fine.
So they can be located anywhere, or I guess they have to be in California, is that correct?
Yes, has to be in California.
But anywhere in California now
Anywhere.
With the internet? Okay.
Yeah. Plus, my costs, my fees are very competitive. I've tried to make it as affordable as possible for the average person.
What kind of clients are you looking for now? Do you recommend a minimum age, like if you're 22 years old, you maybe don't need it, but what kind of clients are you looking for?
I think once you're in your 30s, certainly by the time you're in your 40s, you should be getting an estate plan put together. When you're at those ages, things start happening to people unexpectedly. So I just recommend that's the minimum. Certainly if you're in your 50s or 60s, there's no question about it that you should have an estate plan. Now, an estate plan doesn't necessarily mean a trust and all of that. If you're of simple means, you might just need a will and powers of attorney. So, it's scaled to what your situation is.
Well, actually, that's I'm glad you brought that up, that they may not need every component. What are the components of a typical estate plan?
Well, when I put together an estate plan, what I usually do is a trust, a will, health directive, and power of attorney, and then several other documents. If you own a house, you will need a deed to convey your house to your trust or any real property.
And have there been any examples that you know of where, boy, it's been fortuitous that they had this estate plan of yours?
Oh, quite a few. I've been at it for so many years that people have died while I'm still going, and it has simplified the transfer of their assets. It reduced the cost by 80 or 90%, and makes everybody happier. If you don't have to go to court, you're just going to be more relaxed about it, and your family is going to be better taken care of.
Yeah, so any fees that you charge are negligible in comparison with the fees that or the cost that they'll be saving, the money that they'll be saving.
Right. My fee for a complete plan for a couple, for example, is $1,395. That same couple would probably be spending $10,000 or $15,000 if they go through probate.
And so that for that amount of money, that includes all the will and all that stuff?
Yep.
So tell me again what that $1,300 would include?
$1,395 for a
$1,395.
couple, $995 for an individual.
And tell me again what the components, everything that would
Trust,
include?
a will, a health directive, a power of attorney, and some simple documents to transfer assets. It does not cover the cost of a deed because everybody doesn't have real property.
Right.
So I think it's better to charge those, and that's only $150.
Well, that is really remarkable. Now, you're going to save them money with the state taxes and so on? Or
Taxes is nothing, it's
nothing
a
to do
whole
with it.
different thing.
Okay. Because when you mentioned that they were going to save money, you mean save money on fees, packaging things up, or what other ways? Like, does the estate save any money due to having this estate plan?
Right. If you have to go to court, that's when that $13,000 or so
Now
comes
I get it
into
right.
play. Now you can do some planning to minimize taxes, but that's really a whole different ballgame.
Well, it's significant enough, even just if you were to become incapacitated, forget about from a financial standpoint. There's so many other reasons to really avail. Viewers should avail themselves of your services. I think it's safe to say.
You know, if you were to become unable to care for yourself, make your own medical decisions, somebody might have to go to court to be appointed as your guardian, and that would be a very expensive proposition compared to a minor expense of doing your estate plan.
And what about if they just left notes of, hey, if something happens to me, or let's do this, or does it have to be an official estate plan to be legal? If
there's any chance that somebody's going to question it, yes. If you can be positive that no one's ever going to question it, to some extent you can just leave notes. You can't do that with things like real property. You can't do that with things like health decisions. Notes don't do any good.
Yeah, and why take a chance for $1,395 to have all that, just the peace of mind? Because the chances of somebody being able to do it on their own and doing it properly, my guess is they'd find themselves in more trouble than if they had just done nothing. So,
listen, I go to court regularly to handle probates for people who didn't do this, and it's tragic.
Yeah.
It's just tragic.
Well, Philip Hoskins, I know you're providing a valuable service, and boy, I use the word valuable. It's valuable and a bargain too. I mean, it really is something. I'm very surprised that you're able to do that at that modest price. So thank you very much, Philip.
Well, thank you.
And your contact information is on the screen, and I would really encourage anyone, as you said, you start to get in your 30s, I mean, it's time.
Yep.
When you're 40s, 50s, and 60s,
You
just
can
do it.
find me on the web and get started.
Good. Thank you very much, Philip.
Thank you, Tim.